The woman stood quietly at the marble counter of Sterling National Bank, clutching a worn brown handbag with both hands. Her faded coat was several years old, her shoes were dusty, and her hair was tied back without any attempt to impress anyone. "I need to withdraw some money," she said softly. The bank manager, Richard Hale, looked her up and down. "Do you have an account here?" "Yes." "Identification?" She handed him her ID. Richard checked it, then frowned. "You want to withdraw how much?" $200,000. The manager stared at her. Then he laughed. "Ma'am, this isn't a movie." Several customers turned toward them. The woman remained calm. "Please check my account." Richard typed her information into the computer. His expression changed for a second, but then he quickly closed the screen. "There appears to be a mistake," he said. "Your account doesn't show enough available funds." The woman frowned. "That's impossible. You should contact whoever gave you this information." "I opened that account 22 years ago." Richard sighed impatiently. "Look, I have other customers waiting." She quietly asked, "Could you please check again?" Instead, Richard leaned toward security. "I think we have someone attempting fraud." The woman's eyes widened. "Fraud? I have done nothing wrong." Richard lowered his voice. "You're claiming access to an account containing millions while dressed like this." The sentence made the lobby go silent. A security guard approached. The woman whispered, "Please don't embarrass me. Just check the records." Richard shook his head. "Police are already on the way." Within minutes, 2 officers entered the bank. The woman sat on a bench, looking more disappointed than frightened. One officer approached her. "Ma'am, can you explain why you're here?" "I came to withdraw money from my account." "How much?" $200,000. The officer exchanged a glance with his partner. Richard folded his arms. "She claims she has a fortune here." Suddenly, the bank's main doors opened. An elderly man in a dark suit walked quickly into the lobby. Behind him came several executives. The entire bank seemed to freeze. It was Jonathan Sterling, chairman of Sterling National Bank. Richard immediately straightened. "Mr. Sterling, I wasn't expecting you." Jonathan barely acknowledged him. "I received an alert from headquarters about an unusual account verification." Then he saw the woman. His face went completely pale. "Mrs. Anderson?" The woman slowly stood. "Jonathan." The chairman rushed toward her. Everyone stared. Jonathan took her hand with both of his. "I thought you were gone." The woman smiled sadly. "I never went anywhere." Richard looked confused. "You know her?" Jonathan turned toward him. "Know her?" His voice trembled. "This woman is Eleanor Anderson. She helped my father build this bank." Richard's face drained of color. Jonathan continued. 22 years ago, when the bank was nearly bankrupt, Eleanor sold her company and invested everything she had into us." The lobby became silent. "She didn't want shares in her own name," Jonathan explained. "She trusted my father and placed the investment into a private account." Richard whispered, "How much?" Jonathan looked at the computer. "Current balance?" An executive beside him checked the records. $486 million. Gasps filled the lobby. Richard stumbled backward. Jonathan looked directly at him. "You called the police on the woman who owns one of the largest private accounts in this bank?" Richard tried to speak. I didn't know." Jonathan's expression hardened. "You didn't need to know her wealth. You needed to treat her like a human being." Eleanor gently touched Jonathan's arm. "Let it go." Then she looked at Richard. "I understand why you were suspicious, but you judged me because of my clothes." Richard lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Eleanor nodded. "I hope next time you see someone who looks poor, you'll remember that appearance tells you almost nothing about a person's life." Jonathan smiled. "Mrs. Anderson, your withdrawal will be processed immediately." She shook her head. "Actually, I changed my mind." Everyone looked surprised. "I don't need the money today." She picked up her old handbag. "I only came to help my grandson pay for his surgery." Jonathan immediately replied, "Then let the bank handle everything." Eleanor smiled. As she walked toward the exit, the entire lobby watched in silence. Richard remained behind the counter, staring at the floor. The woman he had treated like a criminal had quietly walked into his bank with enough money to buy the building several times over. But Eleanor had proved something far more valuable than her account balance. Never measure a person's worth by what they wear, because sometimes the person you underestimate is the one who has the power to change everything.